recently there's been uh, not just a bunch of subscribers, people I've been in touch with personally. We've all been trying to find out, asking questions that are, I would say, somewhat sound and relevant if you are completely aware and if you are familiar with the theory of, a law of assumption, law of attraction. Although my primary intent tends to be just help people progress in terms of their personal development, regardless of what endeavor it is. I think I shall, although it's very hard to find one size fits all for what your creed is and so on, I shall now try to cite a few prophecies and admonitions and proverbs from different old civilizations, and also, besides making it obvious of their existence, I shall cite a few authorities of a few books for your own reference. Now, I shall start with just one premise that everything is connected, the Zen kind of idea. And coming from a Hindu background, I'm much more familiar with the Hindu yogic philosophy, the Vedic, the Upanishads, and so on. So, therefore, there is this saying that is, in Sanskrit, they say, Yat Nom Tat Bhavati. That means, as the feeling held, so is the character and environment. And we have the Hebrew reference to that, which is abracadabra. We have, there were several other, as above, so below, from the biblical one. Now, okay, at this point, I shall just get to relating this to each and every person. That is, if you are, whether you are a non-biblical person, you just don't believe in God or any such spiritual idea, you might be an existentialist, you might be an evolutionist, so you may take into reference the butterfly effect, the double slit experiment, the placebo, nocebo effect, so on and so forth. They all lead to the same hypothesis that everything is connected, and you belong to the all that is. Whether you want to call it God, you want to call it energy, you want to call it vibes, it just doesn't matter. Now, after that, after this, laying the foundation, that is, your feeling is the secret, as Neville Goddard would put it, I shall just point out the number one, let's say, the obstacle that practically everybody, even people who are biblical, who go to the church, they follow the Bible to the T and so on, or any such religion, they find the most common pitfall for people is the deservability factor. And I shall cite Louise Hay. If you want to check out her book, the main one, I would say the book that I shall recommend to everyone struggling with deservability is You Can Heal Your Life. And okay, now, besides this one point, whatever you are considering, it can be the pitfalls you might have, a practical guide, and so on. I would say by far the number one guide for everything you might need in your life. Obviously, I'm not saying practical stuff like preparing for an interview, although you might look into it as well. The number one masterpiece I shall recommend is Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Laws. And you really need to chew into it. You need to keep reading it over and over to make sure you don't have any difficulty. So, having said that, I shall also say, even like the butterfly effect and everything else points to another additional hypothesis, that is, biblically you could say you are a child of God. If you have difficulty accepting it, then you need to. I would say you need to take a leap of faith. You just try to figure out what these hypotheses are pointing towards and give it a try for at least 90 days. And Neville Goddard is a fantastic reference, and you need to, if you can get to these 2 points, regardless of deservability. Number one, whether you realize you are part of all that is. And number two, your feeling, your assumption, what you feel throughout your day is practically what manifests. And so if you have any doubts or difficulties related to this, you can comment down below, or you can just DM whatever is comfortable.